All right, so let's dive into some of the more bizarre news from January 4th, 2025. It's uh, it's quite a collection we've got here from sources like the Hindustan Times, NDTV,
Mm.
and even some social media trends.
Well, it's interesting because it all happened on a day with a very unusual calendar quirk.
Oh,
January 2025 both starts and ends with 5 Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays.
really?
5-5-5 pattern, which is
Hmm.
incredibly rare.
5 Fridays.
Huh.
Well, no wonder things felt a little off. It's like the universe was already playing tricks on us.
Yeah.
But before we get too deep into the earthly oddities, let's look up for a second what was happening out in the cosmos, because January 4th was a busy day up there.
It really was. For one thing, Earth reached its perihelion, the closest point to the Sun in its orbit,
All right.
coming within 91,405,993 miles.
So we were all getting a nice New Year's tan from the sun.
Well, not quite a tan, but it is the closest we get to our star all year. Even more interesting, Saturn and the Moon had a very close encounter. The closest they'll be until 2031.
Wow.
And the Moon even occulted Saturn, meaning it passed right in front of it from our viewpoint. This was visible from parts of Europe, Africa, and Greenland.
Hold on, the moon just like blocked out Saturn,
It did.
like a cosmic game of peekaboo.
Yeah, well, it's a relatively rare event and visually quite striking if you're in the right location.
That's incredible. Okay, so
Oh.
we had a close-up with the sun, a lunar disappearing act with Saturn. Anything else going on up there?
Oh, as a matter of fact, the Quadrantid meteor shower also peaked on January 4th,
No way.
with up to 200 meteors per hour streaking across the sky.
Get out.
And to make the night sky even more beautiful, Venus was shining brightly right beside the crescent moon.
Wow, sounds like the universe was really putting on a show.
Yeah,
But back here on Earth, things were a little more, shall we say, chaotic.
a little bit.
While we were all looking up, SpaceX was busy making history down here.
Right. They launched the Thuriya 4 spacecraft on a Falcon 9 rocket, yet another successful mission for them.
And what's the Thuriya 4 all about?
It's a satellite that'll provide mobile communication services across Europe, the Middle East, and Africa.
Wow. So while some were busy watching the skies, others were shooting things into it. Pretty
Yeah.
impressive.
It is?
Makes you think about how differently we experience the world, even on the same day.
Right.
Speaking of different experiences, let's talk about this tiger video that's been making the rounds.
Oh, yeah. Rocket, a 4-year-old Bengal tiger, was captured on video taking what's been called a royal walk through the Pilibhit Tiger Reserve in India.
A royal walk.
Royal walk, that's what they're calling it.
And this thing's gone viral, right?
Yeah.
Like almost 3 million views. People seem captivated by this majestic creature just strolling through the forest.
Yeah. It's a glimpse into a world that most of us only ever see in documentaries, Makes you wonder what Rocket was thinking, doesn't it?
Right. I mean, was he on a power walk? Was he looking for a snack? Maybe just enjoying the fresh air.
Right.
It's amazing how a simple video can spark so much curiosity. But then, on the other side of the world, things got a little less zen and a lot more, well, chaotic.
Oh, yeah.
We're talking about the brawl in the English restaurant.
Yes, a rather bizarre fight broke out, apparently over the inclusion of beef dishes on the menu.
Okay, seriously, a beef brawl? I mean, what kind of dishes are we talking about here? Like a roast, a burger? Was it like a particularly delicious steak that people were fighting over?
Mm.
The details are pretty vague, but I'm dying to know what sparked this culinary clash.
Yeah, unfortunately, the sources we have don't really go into those specifics. What we do know is that the restaurant owner claims that significant damage was caused during the altercation.
Well, that's certainly not the kind of beef you want on the menu.
No.
It makes you wonder what the deeper story is here, right?
Oh.
Was it truly just about the food, or are there some other tensions simmering beneath the surface?
Mm.
But before we spiral too far down that rabbit hole, let's switch gears to a story that's a bit more heartwarming. A man in China took to wearing high heels to raise money for his mother's cancer treatment.
Quite a dedicated son.
Absolutely. Talk about walking the walk for a good cause. Makes you wonder what kind of shoes I'd wear to support someone I love. But on a more somber note, January 4th also had its share of tragedy.
It did, unfortunately. Minneapolis recorded its first homicide of 2025. A 21-year-old man lost his life in a shooting incident.
Oh, it's awful.
A tragic reminder of the violence that continues to plague our communities.
It's a heartbreaking start to the year for that young man's family and friends. And sadly, there's more. A fire broke out at Plaza Latina in Dallas, resulting in the death of 579 animals.
The fire was a devastating accident, and the animals perished due to smoke inhalation. Just awful. Just a devastating loss.
It is, it is. And then there's the incident in Las Vegas, where a U.S. Army man committed suicide by detonating a bomb inside a Cybertruck.
Yeah, really disturbing story.
I can't even imagine what would drive someone to such a desperate act.
It raises a lot of questions, doesn't it? About mental health, especially within the military, the pressures that these individuals face. It's a tragedy, on multiple levels.
It is. It is. Okay, so we've covered cosmic events, technological achievements, viral sensations, acts of kindness, and some really heartbreaking events. It feels like this one day, January 4th, really reflects like the vast spectrum of human experience.
It's a fascinating microcosm, yeah.
It is. It is. Speaking of resilience, though, there's that incredible story of the 8-year-old boy who survived for 5 days in a lion-filled reserve in Zimbabwe.
5 days?
5 days.
Wow, that's incredible. It's a testament to the strength of the human spirit, especially in a child that young.
Absolutely.
The details are pretty scarce, but I'm amazed by this boy's ability to endure such a harrowing ordeal.
It makes you wonder what went through his mind during those 5 days, right?
Yep.
Fear, determination, hope.
Absolutely.
Amazing story of survival. But then, on a slightly lighter note, we have the story of the Canadian student who split her jaw trying to eat a jawbreaker.
Oof, a cautionary tale perhaps. Some sweets are just not meant to be conquered.
I guess that's one way to break a jawbreaker. Seriously, though, it's a good reminder that even seemingly harmless things can have unexpected consequences. Speaking of unexpected, there's the story of a man whose boarding pass was so large it caused a stir at the airport.
It sounds comical, but I can also see how it could cause some confusion, some delays. Unfortunately, we don't have details on the size or why it was so big.
Yeah, I mean, was it like banner-sized?
Right.
Did it have to be folded multiple times? Was it just, a really, really long receipt paper?
Oh, no.
The possibilities are endless.
Right.
I wish we knew the whole story.
Yeah.
But while we're pondering the mystery of the giant boarding pass, let's jump to India, where a Maharashtra court acquitted a man accused of kidnapping after the alleged victim testified that they were, quote, happily married.
Now that's a plot twist.
Right. What initially seemed like a crime turned out to be, a more complex relationship issue. It makes you wonder about the full story, doesn't it? What led to the initial accusation? What convinced the alleged victim to come forward?
So many questions.
It really raises more questions than it answers.
It does. Speaking of hearing from different perspectives, a video clip of the legendary Amitabh Bachchan resurfaced, featuring a humorous remark from the 1991 Filmfare Awards.
Oh, what did he say?
Well, he joked that if he weren't an actor, he would be selling milk in Allahabad.
Selling milk.
Imagine that. Bollywood's biggest star, a milkman.
That's hilarious.
It's a good reminder that even the most successful people have alternative paths that they could have taken.
Right.
And sometimes those paths are surprisingly ordinary. It's all about perspective, I guess.
It is. It is. But now, on a more somber note, we have news of the passing of former U.S. President Jimmy Carter, who died at the age of 100.
A long and remarkable life, dedicated to public service, humanitarian work. His presidency was marked by its challenges, but he remained a symbol of integrity and compassion throughout his life.
A truly influential figure, both during his time in office and afterwards. His legacy will undoubtedly be studied and debated for generations to come. And speaking of legacies, there's news of a plane crash in South Korea, which is sadly a reminder of the fragility of life and the risks we sometimes face.
Absolutely. It's a tragedy that will undoubtedly prompt investigations into the cause of the crash, hoping to prevent similar incidents in the future. It's a stark contrast to the story of the Indian Space Research Organization, ISRO, which successfully launched its PSLV C-60 rocket yesterday.
Oh, that's right, ISRO.
Yeah.
Another successful launch for them. It seems like they're really making strides in space exploration.
They are.
It's an exciting time for space travel with so many countries, pushing the boundaries of what's possible.
It is.
But it's also, it's a fascinating contrast, right? While some are focused on exploring the vastness of space, others are grappling with conflict and hardship here on Earth.
Right.
Like, for instance, there's news of unrest in Manipur, India, with fresh violence erupting in the Kangpokpi district.
Yeah, it seems that peace in the region remains elusive and the situation is clearly volatile.
It's a reminder that while we're making technological advancements and exploring the cosmos, we still have a lot of work to do to achieve peace and stability here at home.
Absolutely. And there are other challenges as well, like the concerning decline in the sex ratio at birth reported in Haryana, India. This points to, deeper societal issues that need to be addressed.
It's a reminder that progress isn't always linear, right? We
Yeah.
might be making incredible leaps in some areas like space exploration, but we're still lagging behind in others.
Right.
Gender equality, social justice, these are ongoing battles that require constant attention and effort. Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground today, from the cosmic to the tragic, from the heartwarming to the downright bizarre.
We have. And we still have a few more intriguing stories up our sleeve.
Oh,
From artistic expression to personal triumphs, and even a city with a rather unsettling nickname.
a city with a nickname. That's going to raise some eyebrows, huh? Not anymore.
Well, this city, it's located in Japan, has earned the rather ominous nickname, the Seventh Ring of Hell.
The Seventh Ring of Hell. Wow, that's quite a name. I'm picturing, like, fire and brimstone and Dante's Inferno. Like, is it desolate wasteland? Or a place riddled with some ancient curse? What exactly earned it such a dramatic title?
The sources we have are a bit vague on the specifics, unfortunately. They mention the nickname, but they don't really delve into the history or the reasons behind it.
Oh, come on.
It's a bit of a mystery,
It is a mystery.
which makes it all the more intriguing, wouldn't you say?
It does. It does. I'm already itching to, do some digging and see what I can uncover about the Seventh Ring of Hell. Sounds like the kind of place that would have some fascinating stories to tell,
I think so.
both beautiful and terrifying. Speaking of uncovering secrets, we also have news about the world's most bizarre secret weapons being revealed.
Ooh, a glimpse into the world of military research and development, where innovation often takes strange and unexpected turns.
I bet there's some wild stories there. I'm picturing, pigeon-guided missiles, exploding cakes disguised as birthday presents, maybe even a weaponized swarm of bees. What kind of outlandish weaponry are we talking about here?
Well, the sources, unfortunately, leave us hanging.
Ah, come on.
They mention the revelation, but they don't actually disclose the specific weapons in question. It seems some secrets are just too dangerous to reveal, even in passing.
They dangle this tantalizing tidbit in front of us and then leave us with nothing but our imaginations. I guess we'll just have to keep an eye out for any, leaks or declassified documents. But while we wait for those top secret files to surface, let's turn our attention to Hollywood, where there's always drama brewing. It seems Jennifer Garner was a source of stress for Jennifer Lopez during her marriage to Ben Affleck.
Ah, yes, the ever-tumultuous world of celebrity relationships. It seems that love triangle that captivated the tabloids in the early 2000s is still generating headlines.
It's kind of fascinating how these stories from the past can resurface and grab our attention, even years later. It's like a reminder that even the most famous among us are still human. Dealing with the same complexities of love, heartbreak, and everything in between.
Absolutely.
And speaking of those who captivate our attention, we also have news that Zendaya expressed disappointment over losing the Mirrorball trophy.
It seems even the most talented and successful individuals experience setbacks and disappointments.
Yeah.
It's a reminder that life is full of ups and downs, even for those in the spotlight.
And sometimes those setbacks can ultimately lead to even greater things, right?
Yeah.
Who knows what amazing accomplishments Zendaya will achieve next. But for now, let's wrap things up with a story that proves money can sometimes soften the blow of heartbreak. Angelina Jolie reportedly received a cool $80 million after her divorce from Brad Pitt.
A hefty settlement indeed.
It is. It is. Well, there you have it, folks. From the cosmic wonders of Saturn's occultation to the bizarre brawls over beef, the heartwarming stories of survival to the unsettling nickname of a Japanese city, January 4th, 2025 was a day that truly had it all. It was a wild ride through the spectrum of human experience, a reminder that life is full of surprises, both big and small.
And perhaps, just perhaps, this day was a microcosm of what this year holds in store. With its unusual 5-5-5 calendar arrangement, maybe January 2025 is hinting at a year full of unexpected twists and turns.
Maybe you're right. It's a thought-provoking way to end our deep dive. So as we all navigate the uncharted waters of this new year, let's keep our eyes open for the strange, the beautiful, and the downright bizarre. Who knows what wonders and what weirdness await us? Thanks for joining us on this journey through the news of the day. Until next time, stay curious.